Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the Mop and Bucket show.
We are not coughing now. Oh. The Mop and Bucket show.
It's really hard to. This is like a mirror. I think that's better if I'm further away. Morning, everyone. Morning, Fiona Nadia Sawalha for PM Read.
I love that. Nadia Sawalha for PM Read. Clodagh, Nadia Sawalha for PM Egan. But so would you be my chancellor of the Exchequer?
No, I'd just be your first man. What was I going to say? So we have, well, I think guys heard you on Loose Women a bit, but we didn't. Obviously, yesterday we talked all about Truss resigning and I mean, we called this ages ago that Boris. I mean, okay, he hasn't formally said that he's running. He's still trying.
But he sent a text. It's on, Dodders. I'm on my way back. Come on, we can do this, Dodders. A fucking bored. His friend who his text to say he's coming back, Dodders. But it just makes me so fucking angry. It shows us even more what a game it is.
That's what I was saying yesterday. Yeah,
it's a board game.
It's like a game of Quidditch. It's a game of Quidditch in Eton. Yeah, or a game of croquet. Rugger.
Oh, look, just notice. Look there, Mark. How swollen my nose is there. Look in there.
God. Oh my God. Turn to the other side. Maybe it's the other side too. Turn that way. No. Ooh.
Post-COVID.
I think you've just got an enormous bogey stuck up there.
Maybe.
Zoe, you cracked me up on Lucia. How was your date, Zoe? How was your date?
Yes, Zoe, before we do anything else, how was Zoe's date? If anyone that's joining us for the first time, Zoe has been on quite a journey with the dating scene. She's a smart, funny, hardworking, ambitious, lovely-looking young woman. And she has one shit date after another. I'm sure you don't mind me saying that, Zoe.
There you go.
So, Zoe, your rant on Loose Women yesterday, Nads. Bloody brilliant. Do you know what? Before we went on air, they said, Nadia, if you go first on the Liz Truss. I said, no, I don't think I should. This is why I said, because I'm too angry. And they were like, no, we want somebody to be angry because everybody's been a bit sort of, I think there's been quite a lot of people going, I feel a bit sorry for Liz Truss. And it's like, no, we can't feel sorry for Liz Truss. Anyway, so I enjoyed it. Flexed my muscles a bit. I'm sure I got loads of hate on Twitter yesterday, but I don't give a shit because I never look at Twitter.
You know what? I do. I know this is unpopular, but I do actually feel sorry for Liz Truss within the context, and this is a vital caveat. No, within the context of being in amongst all those men.
Yeah. Fiona Nadia Sawalha for PM Read. Oh, Shelley knows this is so funny.
No, Shelley Riddler, Nadia Sawalha.
Oh,
hi, Nanny Di.
Thanks, guys.
Looks
hey,
like
Nanny
Boris
Di, you should
back,
be
guys.
Diane, Nadia, and Mark for PM.
Nanny Di, it looks like Boris is back, Mum. Your favourite character.
Hang on a minute. Pause.
What?
Zoe. Okay, so it was one of the better dates. He still asked me some weird questions, but I had you all in my head. I'm going to see him again. Yay!
Oh my God, that's fantastic news.
One step at a time, sweet Jesus. I wonder what the weird questions were now. That's what we're all
wanted to ask. I didn't know whether I should ask.
No, I don't think you should.
No,
say,
we won't.
In case he ends up being your husband.
Yeah. Did it involve anything to do with chalk and flannels?
But I do think as well, like we have to keep in our minds that everybody's asking weird questions, so they think they're the weird questions you have to ask. So that's where you get to.
You know what I really don't like is when people say, "I'm so weird." You're like me. You're so weird. You know, when people sort of like compliment themselves by complimenting. So, you're just like me. You're so wild.
You're just like me. You're so funny.
Oh my God, you're just like me. You're so interesting. It's like, fuck off. How do you know that? No, that's true, Marita. Okay, well, look, we're going to have to finish promptly today because Nadia and co are going for what? Your nails.
I think you're having a proper mummy tour today. We're going to have our nails done. Then we're going to look around the charity shops for new clothes.
Can I just
and
ask
then we're
a
going to go for something
nails?
to eat.
Can I ask a question about nails? Every time someone in the family's gone for nails, I've asked this question: how long will it take? And no one knows.
Well, because it depends who does them. It can take an hour or 2 hours.
What business model is that you never know? It could be 5 hours. I mean, I seem to remember Kiki and someone else going somewhere, and they were in there.
Oh no, but they were badly treated because they were kids, so they moved them around and kept them waiting half. If I'd been there, wow, that really annoyed me because I paid for that, and yet they treated them because they were kids. They just shoved them around. I don't
Yeah,
like
don't
that.
just automatically treat kids horribly, because if you do, you're going to
I
then
just
get the
don't
thing
think
that you
it's
want to
right.
get annoyed about.
I think if you've got
so many
two polite children in there, you treat them, if you're taking the same amount of money, in exactly the same way.
I think there is a category of adult, miserable git adult, that wants to be angry with children. So they treat children horribly, so that children will understandably disrespect them and behave badly, so they can have it confirmed that their reason for not liking children is right. I'm telling you it right now. Lots of my grandparents' friends were like that.
Butterfly Bell is asking how the date with Zoe went yesterday. Well, it went quite well, but she had a few weird questions, but she's going to see him again.
None of us are asking, though I think one involved a question about chalk and flannel. Don't ask me anything else. Okay, so look, we're going to be promptly finishing at 10:45, guys. So look, I thought we'd have a look at...
said, I never had a mummy-daughter day out. My mum hates shopping. Well, I'm not keen on shopping. I'm not a shopping
Karen Ula says it's an average of 1.5 to 2 hours. It's never been that quickly, even in my sort of one step away experience.
Yeah, but we are going to have lunch after.
Yeah, that's nice. Gabrielle, hashtag depressed today. Can everyone send Gabrielle a hug?
Big hug. And do you know what? I felt like that a lot this week.
Yeah,
the world is so batshit crazy. It doesn't help, does it?
Yeah, absolutely. So headlines, front of the papers.
Mark's done all the papers today.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna run through them. So the front of the Daily Mirror today.
Oh, look!
Not surprisingly, surely not again. Apparently, there's a story running around this morning that he was booed as he got on the plane. But it's interesting because that was reported, I think, by the Online Mirror. So you know, the left wing, the Labour supporting press and the Tory supporting press, really being split down the middle on this. The Telegraph is very much coming out in favour of Rishi. The Mirror obviously would like a Labour government. But if you then look at the front of the Mail, you've got, could Boris and Rishi now unite to save the Tories? Now, do you think this could happen, Nance? Do you think they could have a pact together?
Well, just been listening to so many different pundits, and you know, some people say they despise each other so much that they can't say forward. But you know, when power is
Telegraph not supporting him, YouTube. Yeah, you're right.
Aren't they?
No, they're supporting Rishi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You said that. And I think power is just so seductive, isn't it? So who knows? A friend of mine said today she thinks that they're going to meet together, cook up a deal where Boris says, "Stand aside, let me do it," and then I will stand aside and let you be PM. And I bet Blair and Brown. But the thing is, Boris is a liar, so he'll say that to Rishi, and then Rishi will be left.
So
left on the dump.
So, but I think that could you do
this is the really important thing, right? He's about to face the Privileges Committee. Okay.
Whilst you say that,
apparently people are queuing that worked with him and lived in Downing Street to give their version of what happened through Partygate, and many of them have been given, I think, the opportunity to contribute anonymously, right? So you could have a situation where you've got the Prime Minister, the sitting Prime Minister, having to give evidence daily, because this is going to go on every day. They've got, apparently Dominic Cummings will be giving evidence 3 to 4 hours a day, every day for 2 weeks. So it's all going to be everywhere, all over the papers again, all over the world, for the world to see. And it may end with him having to resign 3 months later, 3 months after going back in, and then we're back to square one again. Anyone that can vote for him with that possibility on the table, it's not even like it's the odds are really low.
No, it's more than likely.
He's going to have been found, he's going to be found guilty of misleading Parliament, in which case he'll have to resign. Mind you, I suppose they'll change the law so he doesn't have to resign.
But let's face it, the Conservative Party aren't doing anything that says, well, but I mean, what I know everyone's asking is, what is the front of the Daily
Who's the PCP?
What is the Parliamentary Conservative Party?
Oh.
Everyone's wondering, what is the Daily Star thinking?
Yes.
I am.
What is the Daily Star?
Especially given that someone projected the Daily Star's lettuce onto the side of the Houses of Parliament. Did you know that, the day that Liz Truss resigned? Huge projection of a bobble-eyed lettuce. The aubergine.
That means penis.
Bozo back the dick. Bozo back at number 10. They've tossed aside the lettuce. Now they're serving up aubergine. Yeah, just when you thought...
But that means penis.
Just when you thought all salad-based puns had been exhausted, Posh aubergine Bozo Johnson has emerged as one of the favourites to replace lettuce, Liz.
Now, these are the times when we know we are in a democracy. A lot of the time, it doesn't feel like we're in a democracy, but the fact that you're allowed to do that on the front of a newspaper, God save us.
Can someone
it's a good thing.
I find that, as I say it every week, look at the graphic design detail around the lettuce with a Liz Truss wig on, and you can see they've drawn in the boings as it bounces. It's just, oh my God, they do make me laugh.
They are funny.
Anyway, let's get off this. Let's get into some headlines. What do you think of this, Nads? You're you have a crush on the head of the RMT union. I don't know if you should share that with too many people.
He's so clever.
Strikes, not that clever. Strikes to cost Poppy Day 1 million. Legion fury. Belligerent union barons have refused to ditch a rail strike that will cost military veterans £1 million. And this is a classic example of how almost all acts of protest negatively impact on something.
I think that they're wrong in this.
Who are?
The unions.
Right.
I mean, I believe in the strike. I support the strikes 100%. The fat cats are getting fatter and working people aren't getting paid anymore. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And they're being squeezed within an inch of their
think
life. That's all working people. I'm not just talking about
You think this is an
but
oversight?
I just think this one really, people get so emotional about this, and it hands the right-wing press an absolute
gift. Yeah, because basically one of the strikes is scheduled on November the 3rd, which is the day of the Royal British Legion's London Poppy Day.
I think they'll change that, Mark.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I'm hoping it's just an oversight. Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just when you thought Vladimir Putin couldn't get more underhand, look at this. Vlad's got the split.
Oh, guess what? Good news.
God. Fucking hell.
No, the Americans were talking openly to the Russians yesterday, first time since it began. Yeah,
oh, good.
Just heard it on the radio.
Oh, good. Oh,
they didn't give any more information other than Ukraine was talked about.
Well, and also, I have also heard that Putin was shied away from nuking the Black Sea, which seems a curious target. Because he was worried about American response. Some of the headlines and some of the kind of diplomatic conclusions are pretty obvious, aren't they?
They are facing the Ukrainians the most horrific of winters.
Oh, yeah. And they're threatening to blow up a dam.
Again, all those conscripted Russian soldiers, I feel for them.
Vlad's got the splits. Men forced to fight after their raging exes are dobbing them in. So men who've split, Russian women are grassing up their ex-husbands to military chiefs so that they're conscripted.
Yeah,
exes.
Yeah, because they don't
the
like
jilted lovers and angry exes are sending over their details in the hope of making them pay for abandoning their children.
My God, hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn.
A Russian woman's scorn. One said, the idea came to me, if my ex-husband goes to war, we would be paid because he will get official payments into an account that can't be hidden.
Wow.
It's the Stasi, isn't it? It's like yeah.
East Berlin.
Nenad, haven't seen Black Adam. Didn't want to. I definitely go and see it. Look at it. Oh, they've all come.
Watch our review of Somewhere Boy if you're looking for a series to binge watch today.
Excuse the eco mob story, but this is the story of James Corden. James Corden.
I thought he'd apologised.
Well, he had, but then he did an interview for the New York Times where he said, "I'm all right with it. I'm okay with it." Comedian James Corden said he did nothing wrong.
No, he said he was zen
about it. And he says, never complain, never explain. He broke his silence. He said that he may talk about it on the show. I've not done anything wrong on any level. I feel so zen about the whole thing because I think it's so silly. I think it's beneath all of us. Should we not all be a little bit more grown up? Maybe you should have been a little bit more grown up when you shouted.
Do you think it's not true that he apologised to the restaurant?
Well, anyway.
I mean, we don't know. The restaurant owner could be making the whole thing up.
Well, no. Well, interestingly, what was the name of the guy who hosts First Dates? Fred Siro.
Yeah.
His point was a fair point. He said, why not just take it up with the customer rather than going public with it? Anyway, as I understand it, the story has moved on.
Banned him, haven't they?
Balthazar, the owner of Balthazar, has kicked back at Corden being zen about it, saying you might feel zen about it, but if you're trying to pretend that it hasn't happened, if you come and talk to my staff in person, if you apologize to the two members of staff directly that you insulted, you can have free food at Balthazar for 10 years. That's what he said.
Imagine having to say that to someone who's multi-millionaire. All the stingiest people I've ever met are the most are the most well off.
Well, there you go.
And the most generous are the least well off.
Now, look at this story at the bottom of the James Corden one. What to do when I don't know why this made me laugh. This did make me laugh because I support the policy or the ideology of people protesting about the environment and ecology, eco-activists. I agree with the idea, but sometimes I think they miss their targets. I thought this was a good target. Eco Mob glued themselves to a car showroom, but they glued themselves to the floor. But the owners of the car showroom simply turned the lights off, locked up, and went home.
But I just keep thinking, when you glue yourself somewhere, how do you wee?
Well, they couldn't use the toilet or get food when staff went home. The 9 protesters were left shivering in the dark when workers at the VW dealership simply turned the lights off and the heating. They were left locked in.
Cold.
Security.
Nobody looking at them.
Yeah.
But I do support them. I support them 100%.
Oh,
our house is on fire.
One of the protesters, in answer to your question, Nadia, said, they refused our request, the security guards, to provide us with a bowl to urinate and defecate in a decent manner while we are glued. They refused our request. So maybe they had to wee and poo everywhere. Then it became a dirty protest. Look at this. This is a bit worrying. 1,500 particles of plastic in one takeaway coffee. It makes you. I've always worried about how much plastic is actually in a bottle of water. So
Tony,
when
you've got to worry
this,
about how much plastic is in the salmon that you eat.
All right, baby.
You eat a lot of fish.
Stand over
No,
there
I'm talking
going,
about sushi. I'm talking about sushi
Oh, I
and
see.
the mercury in the sushi as well,
Yeah,
and
well,
the salmon.
Oh, mercury. Remember that podcast about
Mercury poisoning. I think you have it
Shitting hell,
from the
guys.
salmon.
It's the morning
And
treat.
guess what did the homeopaths prescribe you the other day? Merxol.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Listen to this, guys. It's the morning treat, obviously, that many of us think is perfect. But drinking a cup of takeaway coffee could expose you. If you drink a coffee just once a week from a shop, it could expose you to around 90,000 potentially harmful pieces of microplastic.
And we wonder why cancer rates are so high. Everything that we're doing has some kind of toxicity in it.
A single cup released up to nearly 1,500 particles of 5 minutes of exposure.
I don't know what to say.
Well, you know what they do say also,
Fiona and Sawalha for PM Reid.
Well, you know what they do say, though? They often say that, if you leave a bottle of water in a plastic bottle of water in a car, you shouldn't drink it if it's been in the heat or anything like that.
No, but they say that. Do you remember who was that famous person that aligned her gym bottle that she used to leave in the car to her breast cancer? It's the heating up of the plastic, isn't it? It's like you shouldn't keep reusing the plastic bottle.
Which I do.
But I keep telling you not to do that. You never listen to me.
Oh, Nads, because you'd bang on all the time.
Yeah, because I read up about this healthy stuff. I've just got to change the top on stuff.
Oh. Where have you gone?
I'm too hot.
Bloody hell. This story is for you, Nads. How can we trust everything in the press? So confusing, Karen. So I know you've just got to sift through it, and you've just got to kind of work out what's the political agenda of the paper in question, what's the personal agenda of the person writing it, what kind of culture do we live in, all that kind of, so many things that you have to think about. You can't accept anything. Don't accept anything that's delivered to you or served to you. Anyway, this is going to freak Nads out. Look at this story. Vision on. A woman has 23 contact lenses removed from her eye. Nads. Nads.
Oh, they've seen me in my bra before.
What's going on?
I can't find another top. I'm literally baking.
This story I pulled specifically for you.
We'll do another one.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me get. Can you believe that? Can you believe that story? Anyone here a tofu fan? Do you remember Sawalha Braverman? What a name, eh? Sawalha Braverman. I eat it and I'm a Tory. Who felt insulted by the tofu insult? Who felt insulted by the tofu insult? The suggestion that you're a sort of mung bean eating, do-goody, woker. I mean, basically turning so many things that are a good thing or a good statement or a good act or show that you are a responsible, thoughtful citizen. They weaponized it all, didn't they? They managed to say that if you have a care about animal welfare, if you care about diet, if you care about sustainability, if you care about racism, if you care about transgenderism and all these kind of things, it's a bad thing. How did they manage to weaponize good things all in her phrase regarding tofu? The coalition of chaos, she said, The Guardian reading, tofu eating, wokerati. Well, of course, tofu producers are deeply offended by that. I mean, I can't stand tofu myself, but as Emma Jackson, who runs the Purple Carrot Cafe, says, using it as an insult is so boring, just the latest thing the Tories are looking to blame for their mistakes. Yeah, it's just, you know, that's like getting a hippie, picking a hippie to bully, isn't it? Let's go and bully a hippie. Let's go and bully a hippie. Just talking about tofu and how tofu manufacturers are really hurt and insulted that Braverman had a dig at them.
I mean, oh God.
And how tofu's been associated. And how, I was just saying how they can weaponize the idea that people who are thinking about the environment, animal welfare, the wokerati, people who are thinking about anti-racism.
It's fascism.
So if you feel all those things, you're somehow less of a person.
Look, they grouped almost everyone.
Yeah.
It is just absolutely petrifying.
Horrible.
Oh, God.
Let me show you this story. Nads, how are your eyes? How's your eyesight?
Not good.
Could this have happened to you?
Oh, I saw that last week. It's the most disgusting thing.
An eye doctor said a patient who came in complaining of blurry vision had up to 23 disposable contact lenses in her eye.
How anyone could treat their eye. Well, I mean, that's
but you found them around the back of your eye.
No, one just slipped, but I wouldn't forget like 23.
To this day, the woman apparently doesn't understand how it took place. She's baffled by it all, probably because she couldn't see where.
No, but I think there might be something a bit else going on with her.
The patient in her 70s had been avoiding visits because she was afraid of being infected with COVID. Oh.
I think there was something else going on with that.
Here, listen to this. Finding a patient with 23 disposable lenses is not a record. In 2017, doctors preparing a 67-year-old British woman for cataract surgery found 27 contact lenses in her eyes.
I just don't even understand it. I mean, just when if I overleave one in my eye gets. That's what I mean. I think there might be something else going on for those people. Yeah.
This is kind of important for baldies. To baldly go. Breakthrough, as scientists create hair follicles in a lab. A baldness cure is one step closer after scientists grew hair cells in a laboratory. I think baldness is a really difficult thing, you know, for men and women in this age of body acceptance and everything. Because so many women say, I don't like a bald man, or I really like a bald man, and all that kind of stuff. And so many men are sort of worried and petrified of baldness and what have you. And yet, of course, it's something you absolutely can't control. Nope. Can you? And yet when you see hair follicles that have been put in, the mature follicles came from combining two types of stem cells before adding a natural pigment, melanin, to give color. This could transform most bad hair days for men into good hair days. This is in Japan that they've managed to. Oh, this is funny. This story is hysterical. Listen to this. This is listen, guys. There's got to be a sketch. I mean, it's not funny for the people that he actually sort of in a sense held up. This is a stitch up. Face mask muffles robber's demands. Listen to this, Nads. A bungling robber botched 2 raids because cashiers couldn't understand what he was asking for. Martin Travers burst into a post office and ordered the assistant to hand over cash. She looked confused, so he shoved over a piece of paper, but she was unable to read his writing. The frustrated felon, wearing a hoodie and carrying a red shoebox, gave up and walked out, mumbling he'd pop her later.
Oh, he's such a failure.
He then marched straight to a nearby bookmaker's and tried another robbery, but the same thing happened.
Oh, God.
This time, when he handed over a note, he gave it to the woman the wrong way up.
Poor
and
soul.
It showed a list of phone numbers, which she said she could not ring for him. In desperation, he put the shoebox on the counter and said something and it could go off, at which point the police were...
Oh, he's not well.
He couldn't organise a piss-up in a brewery.
Got to sing happy birthday to Ellery. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ellery. Happy birthday to you. Squash tomatoes and stew.
Never had tofu. Looks tasteless. I do read The Guardian and The Times, dear heart. I can't stand tofu, if I'm really honest. I really can't stand
James O'Brien made me laugh the other day. Guess what? Hummus has got off very lightly, hasn't it? I would have
Yes.
thought hummus or muesli would have been included in that.
First wild bison born in UK for 6,000 years. Joy for rangers who released 3 female bison in a rewilding project had no idea they were making history. She's delivered the first wild bison to be born in Britain for at least 6,000 years. Isn't that astonishing? And this is a funny one. It's Life, Jim, but not as we Lego. Who thinks William Shatner's all the full number? Star Trek legend William Shatner thinks human beings are made of Lego. Completely sane star, the Daily Star says, Trek legend reckons we are just bits of kiddie bricks. Captain Kirk Star thinks it's a clever way to explain why we're all so different. Each human is made up of certain Lego pieces, each representing different skills. He's got to be using it as an analogy, hasn't he? Hasn't he? Any Mike Tyson fans here? Nadia's just getting ready to do her nails. That's why she's just run off. Any Mike Tyson fans here? He's a bit unpredictable, isn't he? It's a bit of a worry. Mike Tyson looks like he's launching edible ear sweets. In a reference to when he bit off Evander Holyfield's ear. I don't entirely know if that's in good taste. Yeah, Mike Tyson adds launching ear sweets as a kind of jokey reference to when he bit off Evander Holyfield's ear back in 1997. Yeah, people just want to take pictures of me biting their ears, so they've created a sort of sweetie ear. And our final thing of the day, look at that. What do you think that is, guys? Maddie last night sent us a photo. She said, Dad, look at this. This is a close-up of an ant's face. Did you see it?
It was so
scary.
I used to like ants.
I used to like ants. Look at that.
Don't now.
Look at that, Nads. Isn't that an amazing photo? That is a photo of a...
No, but the other one with the really close-up angry face she sent.
I'm going to post it on the community tab, a close-up of an ant's face. This is a fly caught in the jaw of a tiger beetle. Part of the Small World Photo Micrography Contest. Say goodbye, Nad.
No, I'm not saying goodbye yet.
Oh, well, I am. Well, there you go, guys. There's all our stories. That's everything you need. That's
Love you lots.
want.
Tomorrow is a live Sunday show. And I think instead of a book tomorrow, we should do the podcast we both love.
Oh, that's a
now
good
you
idea.
finished
That's
it. We have just finished the most brilliant podcast series that we really want to tell you about because it is an absolute must listen.
And Nanny Di has reviewed Blonde, which we'll do the following weekend for the pre-recorded Sunday show. So, guys, Nadia's now going to spend 86 hours in a chair having her nails